welcome to Cooking with Cori. I'm your host, Chef Cori Dern, and I'm also a proud media spokesperson for Foodland, Ontario. And today I'm making a really delicious meal for Foodland, Ontario, and it's a sesame pork, Ontario pork, and Ontario Savoy cabbage stir fry. Yum! Now, because a recipe is a guideline, when you go to foodlandontario.ca and you look for, recipes that include pork, or I'm looking for something that has cabbage and it's this, yummy sustenance, remember that if it says pork, you could use chicken or ground chicken. You could use beef. In today's recipe, I've actually done a combination and got started on it by using half pork and half Ontario pork and half Ontario lean ground beef. So in my pan here, I'm right now just sauteing, breaking down in a little bit of oil just so that nothing sticks, some yummy Ontario ground pork and beef, and making sure that it's completely cooked through. For the rest of my lovely stir fry, I have some Ontario Savoy cabbage, and what I did was I chopped it up. You can do it, in thick strands, you can cut it into chunks, whatever makes you happy. Again, you are the chef at home, so you get to decide. I also have some lovely Ontario mushrooms. I went with button ones, and Ontario carrots. A little secret about carrots. When you're cutting the end off of a carrot, look for that little green ring. If you see that little green ring, it means that your carrot is bitter just right there. So you always want to cut off the end of a carrot just to make sure that there's no little green ring, and then that way the rest of the carrot is nice and sweet. Mushrooms, don't run them underwater. Get a damp cloth and just wipe off the top, wipe off the dirt. You don't have to submerge them or soak them, because then you just end up soaking them in dirty water, and nobody wants that. I went with button, but you can go with cremini. Any kind of Ontario mushroom that makes you smile is going to make this meal absolutely enjoyable for you. So this is really straightforward. She says sauteing her meat. The first thing I want to do is make my delicious sauce. And so my sauce consists of soy sauce, sesame oil, Ontario honey, and there's an abundance of that. Yum. Ontario garlic, and I've got some chili flakes and ground ginger. If you want to use fresh ginger, that's totally up to you. So because I have all these bowls, I always think to myself, what's the thing that is the hardest thing to get out of that bowl? And that's going to be my Ontario honey. So what I want to do is I want to take my honey and keep that as my bottom base. Just make sure this doesn't stick. And to that, I'm going to add my most liquidy thing, which is my soy sauce. And that way I'm not kind of, rushing to try to get everything off the bottom. And I'm going to give that a little stir. Perfection. And then to this, I'm going to add my garlic. And I've got about 4 cloves of minced pureed. I like to use a microplane for my garlic. I just find it's that much easier. And then I've got ground ginger and chili flakes, because if you guys know me, you know that I like it spicy. Because that's just the way I roll. And I'm just going to get this all nice and mixed up. And then add my sesame oil for that extra sesame-ness. And I'm just going to let this hang out for a bit. Okay, so now while this is hanging out and letting the flavors develop and my meat is all done, I took the time ahead of time, and I want to be able to show you what I did. I put my carrot and my mushroom in a little bit of oil in my saute pan. And I just had it on medium heat just until the mushrooms started to soften. The carrots did not need to be cooked through because I want them to be tender crisp. If you look at the carrots on here and you look at the mushrooms, you're going to see that they're evenly sliced. That way I guarantee an even cook. If I had big chunks of carrot and little thin bits of mushrooms, there's no way I could cook them together because the mushrooms are going to burn. So I have them pretty even, and all I want to do is make my mushrooms just a little bit soft and the carrots just a little tender crisp. And then once they're nice and tender crisp, that's when I'm going to add my Savoy cabbage. When I add the Savoy cabbage, I'm going to incorporate it into my mushrooms and carrots, and that's going to take about 3 minutes until I add my cabbage. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to that when I'm putting it together, and that will help steam these down so they're nice and soft while keeping it nice and tender crisp. And I'm going to end up with something that looks just beautiful. It's going to look just like this. And so right here I've got a mixture of just the straight up sauteed carrots, sauteed mushroom, and sauteed Savoy cabbage, all lovely and from Ontario. So with this mixture, because I'm the kind of person who likes to season things in stages, I'm going to add a little bit of the sauce that I made right here to the meat and just incorporate it. Oh, it smells so good. I'm going to tell you, never go shopping when you're hungry. Bring a list. I'm always recommending to you folks, you woksies at home, that when you go shopping, shop with intention and purpose. You know, if you want to know if something's in season, because you know that when something is in season, it tastes even better, I'm going to recommend that you go to the OntarioFoodland.ca website, and that's where they have all things that are seasonal. And then that way, if you don't have something that you want in your recipe that's available, there's other suggestions. So to my cooked beef and pork, I'm going to add my lovely cabbage and mushroom and carrot. I think that's a goodly amount. And I'm going to add some more of my sauce. And I am just that person who really likes sauciness, because I'm pretty saucy myself. And so I made extra just in case, which is why I was happy to show you how I made the sauce. And you can see I'm just incorporating everything so it gets all of that beautiful flavor. It's already been cooked, so you can see that it's not overly cooked. It's just tender crisp the way you want it. I'm going to add just a little bit more. And this is lovely. It's salty. It's sweet from the Ontario honey, right? If you want it a little spicier, you can add some more chili flakes, anything that is going to wake up your palate. But I'm going to tell you, this is just beautiful. And now, just to finish it off, I have my plate. And let's get this show on the road. So delicious. If you want this recipe, you know where to go, foodlandontario.ca. You can check out my website, chefcori.com. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, good things grow in Ontario.